As a funeral director, I see a lot of what I call false mourning. Basically, this is people who come to funeral services and pretend to be sad or pretend to be grieving just to garner sympathy from an already grieving family in most cases, or to attempt to get some sort of weird interaction with the funeral home staff. It happens over and over again. I'm sure all funeral directors experience it in some shape, way, or form. Although there's nothing wrong with morbid curiosity, I dislike people who pretend to be in a state worse than they are just to garner sympathy or to garner interest. It's very vampiric in my estimation, and not in a good way. That being said, I've always made it a point not to do the same thing myself. You'll see celebrity deaths posted everywhere on social media. You'll see people crying and sobbing over their favorite person dying in the music world or the movie world or whatever. And although I'm not discounting that there is some grief associated with these things, I'm a person who sees actual grief and actual trauma on a daily basis, so please forgive me if your favorite Power Ranger died. I really don't give a shit. However, there are certain times where someone that I've never met, someone that I've never even spoken to, passes away, and it does have an effect on me. I don't do anything like attempt to contact the family. I don't try to make myself a problem for the actual people who are grieving. However, I will sit back, wait a while, and then do something like this, which is to say some words in memoriam about the person on the anniversary of their death. Also, I want to notate that this is not exactly the anniversary of this person's death. This person passed away on January 27th, 2020. And I'm recording this a day late on the 28th of January, 2025. The person that I'm talking about is Magister Joe Netherworld. And of course, as Satanists, we dismiss spiritual stuff. We're atheists. We believe in the supernormal and not the supernatural. I don't think muddying the waters is a good thing to do when it comes to this idea of spiritualness. I think spiritualness is a plague upon humanity. I think that it's responsible for a lot of the ills that we all have to suffer every day. So I don't want to contribute, even in a backhanded way, to New Age movements such as Love and Light tarot reading, or this obscene obsession with blanket good guy philosophy, this blanket coverage of namaste, watered down vanilla white lady bullshit. That's how I thought about tarot until I happened upon Joe Netherworld. And then I realized that's the type of tarot reader that I want to be. There is a way to marry the ideas of tarot with Satanism. I want to be very, very specific here. The Church of Satan does not endorse tarot or any other form of divination. However, it is a powerful tool that can be utilized in a lot of different ways. As I said previously, it's very rare that I genuinely care about a person that I've never met, and that's actually a step too far. I think that it's truly impossible to care about a person that you've never met, but you can care about the idea of that person, and I certainly cared about the idea of Joe Netherworld. And I believe that as Satanists, our job, our way that we transcend life and live on is through our legacy. We use our black flame to burn a hole in this world and fill it with the things we find important. We find a way to build our own godhood inside of this cracked and decayed thing that we call existence. We find beauty in nonsense and nostalgia. We find beauty in the dark, in the damp, and the dank. This is something that Joe Netherworld showcased. He also had the wonderful Halloween house in Poughkeepsie, part of the Witchcraft District. It was Halloween year-round. Children came from far and wide to trick-or-treat at the Halloween house. Joe was a wonderful interior decorator. He was clearly wonderful at the building of aesthetics. If there was one satanic sin he never committed, I think it was that one. Again, I never knew him, but I've read a lot about people who have spoken about his personality, spoken about the fact that he was very welcoming to people he called friend. And again, for me personally, his work in the tarot realm is irreplaceable. I still go onto his YouTube channel, which is still active by the way, and watch his old readings just to brush up on my own skill. Is he any better than anyone else? Is his delivery any better? No. But you see him being him in his environment, reading his cards his way, not sugarcoating things, and putting his energy into that reading. That is what I wanted to do. Of course, anyone who's familiar with Joe Netherworld and Poughkeepsie in general knows that there was an arson that took place almost an exact year after his death, and the Halloween house burned to cinders. It was then demolished. Although I don't believe in the supernatural, I do think that coincidences are interesting. I do think that if certain themes live on in our minds and become apparent over and over again, there's something to be seen there. I think there's something to be seen in secret places, and I think that there's something to notice when people try to kill something twice. Obviously, Joe Netherworld had already passed away, and then somebody tries to burn down his legacy. This is a true way to attack a Satanist, because attacking a Satanist's art, attacking their footprint on the world, is a direct attack on themselves. That's why I find a bit of joy in going back and looking at Joe's tarot readings. That's why I find a bit of joy in using his mannerisms when I read tarot. That's why I find a bit of glee in the fact that every time I speak the name Joe Netherworld, that footprint gets a little bit deeper. Although someone out there who has never been caught clearly wanted that footprint to be wiped from existence. Of course, motivations are unknown, unclear, and I really don't care. I guess my message, if you're listening to this, whoever perpetrated that crime, is that you only threw fuel on a black flame. It'll burn underground like a coal mine caught on fire. The satanic black flame isn't something that can be killed or even corralled. It's just something that lives. Rest in power, Joe Netherworld. Hail Satan.